Michelle from the US has written to us that when I add 1 drop of lactic acid to my formulation, the pH drops down out of the range. And this is perhaps the problem with most of you. So when you add a concentrated base or a concentrated acid, specifically when you are working with small quantities, with batches about 50 to 100 grams, that 1 drop of acid or base is too much. And obviously you cannot put a half of a drop or reduce a drop to a half. So we need to work another way. But first, let me tell you why we need to reduce or increase the pH of a cosmetic formulation at all. Come with me to the computer and I'll explain to you. The question is why you need to increase or decrease the pH of a cosmetic product at the first place. Well, we need to adjust the pH so that we make the product safe for use, the product suitable for a certain application or a certain consumer group, and to remain in the stability and efficacy range of the individual ingredients and at the end of the overall product. The stability, performance, appearance, optic, color, texture, safety, and as an overall, the compliance of the product is strictly dependent on the pH range. So you cannot blend all of your ingredients and hope that at the end the pH remains in the range that you want. You usually need to either increase it or decrease it to bring it to the range. What is the range? It depends on the product type, on the application, on the consumer. Obviously, a baby product has another pH range than a sunscreen or a hair dye or an AHA cleanser. For most of the daily use products, the pH is something between the range of 4.5 to 6.5, but for products such as sun care, hair dye, or chemical peelings, the pH is much higher or much lower than this range, and you need to adjust the pH to guarantee the efficacy and the safety of the product. To reduce the pH, we use acids. This is something that you know from the high school, even if you are not a chemist. And the acids that we use in cosmetic formulations are lactic acid or citric acid. Please do not use vinegar to reduce the pH. Vinegar is not a pure ingredient, contains minerals and other components, not impurities, but components that can affect the color, the scent, and the stability of the product. And vinegar is a weak acid, and you need much more higher concentration compared to any of lactic acid or citric acid. To increase the pH, we obviously need a base, and the bases that we usually use in cosmetic formulation are sodium hydroxide, arginine, or sodium bicarbonate. When you are purchasing acids and bases, do not go to the grocery store, to the bakery goods aisle or home care aisle. Those ingredients either have additives or impurities that can affect the stability and performance of your product. Please purchase these ingredients from a chemical supplier. The price is much higher when you purchase them from a chemical supplier, but the purity is much higher. You have more control, and regarding the fact that you don't need too much of these ingredients, the impact on the final price is not that much higher. To have more control and to easily dose and weigh these ingredients, it is easier to prepare stock solutions at different concentrations. So as Michelle has written to us, when she uses 1 drop of 80% lactic acid, the pH drops too rapidly or too much, and since you cannot have a drop, you need to prepare other concentrations of your acids and bases, and the easiest way is to prepare stock solutions and have them handy whenever you need them. The best way is to use plastic containers, dropper bottles or applicator bottles. It gives you more control, and you can easily keep these stock solutions at least for 3 weeks at room temperature. Nothing happens. The pH is too high or too low for any contamination, so you don't need to preserve them or add any additive to them. Make your solutions in small bottles. If you are working usually in the range of 100 to 500 gram, then stock solutions between 30 milliliter and 50 milliliter will go a long way, so you don't need to prepare liter or 500 ml solutions. 30 to 50 ml will be okay for a very long time. Let's go to the concentrations that we make in our lab. Sodium hydroxide, as you know, is a very aggressive base. If you are already a soap maker, you probably have sodium hydroxide in your stash, either as a lye solution or as the pellets or granules. You need to wear safety goggles, mask and gloves when you are working with this ingredient. Extremely aggressive, so really take care. And it is somehow intimidating, but it is one of the cheapest bases that you can use, and it is a very strong base. So you usually prepare 50%, 25%, 10% and 5% stock solutions. Arginine is much milder and much more expensive compared to sodium hydroxide, but it is not that intimidating. And it comes as a powder, so it's 100%, and then it has a very low solubility in water, so you can prepare 10% and 5% dilutions. Citric acid comes as a powder, so you can use it as it is, which gives you not much control, specifically when you are working in small quantities. So we prepare 40%, 20%, 10% and 5% dilutions. And lactic acid on its own is a powder, but basically and very often it is available as a 80% dilution or solution in water, and so you can dilute it to 40%, 20%, 10% and 5%. But by having these stock solutions at hand, you can easily increase or decrease the pH of your products without wasting too much time. Label your bottles very clearly. If you want, you can label them in blue and red or distinguishing colors so that you don't accidentally swap them, and write down the date of the dilution. So if you want to be very exact, after 3 weeks you can discard the contents and then prepare new solutions. If all of these pH increasing and reduction is too much for you and you are somehow confused and intimidated and you want to crawl under the counter and do not come out when it comes to pH adjustment, our specific course related to pH adjustment and measurement in cosmetic formulations, measure and adjust the pH as a cosmetic chemist, is enrolling now, and you can right now enroll at an early bird price, which is available till Thursday evening. So if you go to the greencosmetic.science/enroll, you can enroll in the course at an early bird price. I will put the file related to all these dilutions and how you can make the dilutions and the calculations on our Telegram channel. If you are not a subscriber yet, go and subscribe to our Telegram channel. You will receive some exclusive information and some exclusive discounts by being a member of our Telegram channel, and I put the link in the description. So go and enroll in the course as long as the early bird discount is available, and I'll see you on 26th during our course launch party.